In section 2.3, we're finally going to get to step number 1 of our steps for solving linear equations, how to clear fractions and decimals. And in this first objective, we're going to talk about how to clear a fraction from a linear equation. So your first step is to find the lowest common denominator. Often referred to as LCD. Then multiply each term that is not in parentheses by your LCD, and then reduce each fraction so the denominators cancel out. So let's look at a couple of examples. In this first one, I have denominators of 3, 2, 3, and my whole number 3 also has a denominator of 1. So my lowest common denominator among these is going to be 6. To multiply each of my terms by 6, I'm going to use the distributive property to show that I'm going to multiply the 6 by the m over 3 and by the 1/2. I'm also going to multiply 6 by 2m over 3 and by 3 over 1. That will give me 6m's over 3 plus 6/2 and equal 12m over 3 plus 18 over 1, because 6/1 times m thirds gives me 6 times m on top, 3 on the bottom. 6/1 times 1/2 is 6/2. On the other side, 6/1 times 2m would be 12m over 3, and 3 times 6 is 18. Then when I reduce each one of these fractions, the first term becomes 2m. The second term becomes a 3. The next term is 4m. And the final term, 18. I'll solve this equation using the same math I've used in the previous objectives when we were learning how to solve linear equations. I'm going to move all my variable terms to one side. All my constant terms to the other side. And divide by 2 here at the end to get a final answer of 15/2 equals m. Now checking this equation is a little trickier than some of the other ones we've checked so far. This is where your ability to compute with fractions is really going to become evident. So if you kind of glossed over those sections in Unit P, particularly sections 1.1 and 1.2, where we covered a lot of the fraction operations, you're probably going to want to go back and look at those again. So just like in the previous sections, the check has me putting this fraction in every place that I had a variable in my original equation. So I'm going to have a negative 15/2 over 3 plus 1/2, and that equals 2 times a negative 15/2 all over 3 plus 3. Well, to do negative 15 halves, divided by 3, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal of 3, which is 1/3. I can reduce before I multiply, and that gives me -5 over 2 plus 1/2. They already have a common denominator, so I'll just subtract the numerators. -4/2 reduces to -2. So now let's see if the other side comes out to be the same answer. 2 times a -15/2 is really 2/1 times -15/2. So the 2's are going to cancel out, leaving me with just a -15 over this 3, plus another 3. I can reduce 15 over 3 to 5. The negative is going to stay with us. And when I add 3 to -5, I get -2.